What is up, guys? Welcome to the Secrets of the Fit and Successful podcast, where we talk about everything you need to know to get onto the other side of success and health. So, today we are talking about finding your why. And along with mindset, like we talked about in the last episode, this is one of the most important aspects that you guys need to have in place if you're going to make this journey last. So I'm going to walk you through essentially 5 to 6 steps of how this goes for most people. And I'm going to help you guys avoid the pitfalls that might be stopping you from being as successful as you could be. So, number 1, let's talk about how it usually starts. For most people, it starts off with wanting to look a certain way, right? And there's nothing wrong with this, and that's a great place to start, actually. We look at ourselves in the mirror, and we don't like the person looking back at us anymore. We're like, what happened? I want to look better. I want to be able to take my shirt off at the pool and feel good about myself. I want to be able to fit into that bikini again and feel good about myself, feel confident out in public. I don't like the way I look, and I feel like if I put the time and the effort in, I would look better and feel better. And that's fantastic, right? And that's great. But what you're going to find is that why, as good as it is and as valid of a reason as it is, it's not going to carry you all the way to your end goal. Because you're going to start realizing there's more to this than just the physical aspect. And you hear coaches talk about it all the time, and that's for a reason. We've been there. We've been through the transformations, and we start to understand ourselves. The minute we started looking the way we wanted to look, it didn't fix all of the other problems. And that's the beautiful thing about fitness. It has the ability to help us therapeutically work through a lot of the different problems we have in our lives. And so maybe we're solving that one problem of we want to look better, and that's a great starting point. But that alone as a why will only take us so far. So what do we start looking for after that? It becomes not just wanting to look good all the time, but now we want to feel good. We've gotten a taste of what it's like to be healthy, and we're way more energized than we used to be. We are way more alive than we used to be. And you see it all the time. People who are fit, they have an extra pep in their step. They're always going. And it's simply because we've got our body running like a unit now, where we are killing it. We're out there doing what we love. And our bodies can sustain that because we're actually taking care of them and we're fueling them properly. And that becomes addicting of itself. So then your why becomes, I love the way I feel. I always want to feel this way. And that, again, is awesome, right? Because, that's that lifelong fitness. Once you've gotten past the mere external aspect of it, the wanting to look good and the wanting to, have others see you looking good, then it becomes more internal. And the goals become more, well, I just want to feel better, right? I don't care so much anymore that people know that I have abs. It was cool, and for me, it validated that. It brought me confidence. I went to the pool with my shirt off, and I didn't feel like people were looking down on me because I wasn't taking care of myself anymore. But it doesn't matter as much after a while. After a while, we come to terms with the fact that it didn't matter what they thought in the beginning. It mattered what I felt about myself. And a lot of the times, our insecurity about us thinking other people are looking at us a certain way is just a projection of how we feel about ourselves on others. I guarantee you most people at the pool aren't looking at you, judging you for the amount of fat you're carrying. That's just what you're in your head thinking because you're insecure about the amount of fat you're carrying on your body because you yourself are insecure. Simply because you're not putting in that effort. You know that fat around you is an outward projection of you not putting in the time and effort. But once we work through that and we lose that weight, that why begins to go away and the why becomes more internal. And it becomes that I want to feel good all the time. I want to feel healthy. I want this to last the rest of my life. And that's great, again, but after a couple more years of this, you start to realize that as great as these goals are, they're very internal to us. It's very just us. And you become almost in a sense more outwardly seeking. You want to start sharing this. You want others to feel this, right? Because a life lived alone is not much of a life at all. As humans, we're social beings. We want to interact. We want to share with each other. If you got really fit and energized, but you lived on an island stranded alone the rest of your life, I don't think you'd be very happy. And so you get to like level 3, which is you want to live. You want to not just look good and feel good, but you want to go out and experience life to its fullest. And you want to get outside yourself and do that with others. You want others to be part of this with you. And that's a great thing. There's nothing wrong with wanting it for yourself. And in the beginning, you have to want it for yourself. You have to be a little bit selfish, and that's okay. But as you grow, your why is going to become more of wanting it not only for yourself, but for others. So that not only can you be the best person you can be, but then you're able to share that person with the people who mean the most to you. And that is where this why really starts to get strong. And if you're smart, you'll take my advice here, and you'll start having that be the why that you're utilizing when you start. Because if we only focus on the external from the start, we run the risk of having that run out. We run the risk of losing the motivation, losing our sense of why. But if we have the foresight to have the why be more than just the external, then we know deep down inside that we're in this for the long haul, that we're going to carry this through. Because I don't mean to scare you guys, but I'm going to share some stuff with you right now. Here are the scary facts about not getting in shape. Here are the scary facts about not pursuing this now, about putting it off, right? 655,000 Americans die of heart disease each year. That's 1 in 4, guys. That's 1 in 4 people are going to die of heart disease. All right? And if that doesn't scare you, and you're like, oh, maybe it's not me. Here's the impact that's going to have on the generations below us, right? That is $219 billion that we lose in medical costs, in lost labor. So it's not just a strain on the families who are losing these people. It's a strain on the nation as a whole. This is a pandemic in itself. Not taking care of ourselves doesn't just affect us. It affects our families when they lose us early, and it affects the entire nation when it puts a strain on us economically. And it's selfish. And yeah, that's hard to hear. But the National Institute of Health labeled obesity as the number 2 cause of preventable death, second only to tobacco use. So if you're out there right now and you think that, I can get in shape later, or I can take my time off, it's not going to help you. You have to get serious about this now. And so finding your why and making sure that why is very important is going to help you avoid this kind of backlash, right? We're in a pandemic now. We see what a pandemic does. We see the fear. We see the effects it has on everything around us in the world. And the scary thing is that obesity's been a pandemic as well for a while. We don't talk about it because a lot of our economy runs on fast food and a lot of our economy runs on pills. So maybe we don't give it as much foresight. Maybe we don't give it as much publicity as we should. But don't for the life of you think that this is not something to be taken seriously. If you want to be around, if you want to live to see your grandkids, if you want to be there to walk your daughter down the aisle, you have to take this seriously. Obesity lowers the average male lifespan by 20 years. That's 2 decades, guys. If you are consistently obese as a guy, you're taking 10 to 20 years off your life. That means you don't get to see your grandkids. For some of us, that could mean you don't get to walk your daughter down the aisle. That's the serious stuff. These are the real whys, right? And so all of a sudden, having washboard abs or feeling a little bit more energized becomes less of a priority when you're looking at life from the zoomed out lens. When you look at life and you're like, wow, my entire future really relies on me getting my shit together and getting it together soon. And, we go online and we see transformations and we see people and we see the external, and that can get us hyped up, right? That can get us to want to start. But to want to finish, to want to stay with this, you have to develop that strong why. And there's nothing wrong with wanting abs. There's nothing wrong with wanting to feel good. And you should have both of those things, but you have to look at the why. You have to look at the long term, because if you don't, you're going to fall short. You're going to lose the vision. So when you find your why, you realize that it becomes more than the physical. It's about self-respect. It's about self-worth. It's about others. Your self-respect is saying to yourself, I'm worth more than sitting on my couch and eating McDonald's every day. I'm worth more than sitting on my couch and eating McDonald's every day. I'm worthy of a happy life full of fulfillment that I get to spend with others. A lot of times eating, it can be cathartic, right? It's a way that people cope with not feeling good. And it is a way that we bring out our insecurities and deal with them. You need to get inside your head. You need to get your why set on others. And so that you can have that self-respect, that self-worth to say to yourself, no, I'm worth more than this. I deserve to be happy and healthy. I deserve to give myself a healthy, regimented life where I stick to things. I'm disciplined. I'm not swayed by, just anything. If you set this up and you have a strong why, you will make it through life with a healthy, active lifestyle. But if you don't develop and find your why and make it something that you remind yourself of daily, you're going to lose your way. And you can have all the mindset you want. You can purchase the best coaches, the best training programs. You can have a dialed-in nutrition program. But none of that's going to get you to where you want to go unless you have a why that will carry you through the highs and the lows. So find that why. I highly recommend going down the path I just followed. Start with a physical why, get to a energetic or feeling why, and then end it with an other focused why, a why that looks at other people, a why that goes outside yourself, that's bigger than yourself, because those are the goals that really carry us. Those are the goals that get us up in the morning when we don't maybe feel like it, but we know that we're doing this for more than just ourselves. That's what's going to get you up on those mornings. The whys that are a little bit more selfish, a little bit more self-centered, they're not going to carry you through those low points. But when you're doing it for more than just yourself, then you're going to be consistent. All right, so that's it for today's podcast. I hope you guys got something out of this. If I can leave you with any one thought, let it be this. You have one shot at this life. You have one shot. And you may think you have a ton of time, but we never really know how much time we have. So it leaves you with two options. Are you going to sit around and wait until something so dire happens that it sparks you into action and then you play catch up for the rest of your life? Or are you going to be active? Are you going to get ahead of this? And are you going to fight to make this life the absolute best, most fulfilling life you have? So for your homework today, I want you guys to I want you to try to sit down and write out your 3 whys. What do you want to look like? What do you want to feel like? And how long do you want to be here, kicking it and killing it with the people you love?